it's Jackie and I'm here with an art project to show you. These are my Inchies. So I mentioned before I'm doing the online class put on by YouTube user Cat Hands called Mixed Media Morsels, and if you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend that you do. We're having a lot of fun, and this latest lesson was on Inchies. So she gives a tutorial. She shows you how to take a 3 by 3 inch square and cut it down, put a background on it, cut it down into 1 inch pieces, and how to decorate each one to create a set of 9 inchies. So an inchie, if you're not aware, is a 1 by 1 inch piece of art. I took her concept and I took it a little bit further, and maybe I took it a little too far. It ended up being quite a big project. I actually made 14 squares. They were 2 by 2, so it ended up, when I cut them each into 4, I ended up with 56 inchies that I did, and you can see there's 4 of each background style. Like if you look at the purple ones, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. If you look at the green ones, 1, 2, 3, 4. Every background style you'll see 4 that are the same. And once the backgrounds were done, the decoration, I just looked at one at a time and just tried to figure out what should go on it. I looked at everything in my stash. I kind of went through like all the stickers and rub-ons and just everything that I had to put these together. I used a ton of tiny words. I tried really hard actually not to put tiny words on everything, but sometimes I couldn't resist. Most of the time I couldn't resist, so there's tons of tiny words. In terms of the techniques I used, sometimes it would be as simple as just putting some stickers on the background. Sometimes it was as complex as die cutting a piece and painting it with acrylic paints. Sometimes I would hand draw a little focal point, this little mug I hand drew him. Sometimes I would do some stamping and I would paper piece it together. So they go from really simple, like that's just a dairy sticker. So they go from really simple to a little more complex, and I just love how different they all are. I love how they reflect my own artistic style. Like I'm starting to figure out what my artistic style is, and doing a project like this really helps it come through. And it was a great way to use up some little bits in my stash, like this little hedgehog sticker. I've been sitting on that for a long time, so I was happy to find a little home for him. I think he looks so cute on that card. So I still have to do my page in my mixed media journal. I showed this one to you before. Let's see if I have it handy. This little book here. So my next pages will be Inchie pages, but I just wanted to show them to you at this stage because I'm so proud of them. I think they turned out super cute. So if you've never made Inchies, I definitely recommend it. It's really fun. So from here I'm going to show you some photos that'll just outline my process, how I got to this point, and then I'll show you some close-ups of each one. So the first thing I did was take a sheet of mixed media paper and I cut it down into 2 by 2 inch squares, and I just painted them with a variety of techniques. I generally used acrylic paints either by brushing them on, swirling them, sponging them on. I used a bunch of distress stains, that's the blue, the brown, and the olive green that you see there, and I used some Heidi Swapp Color Shine sprays, although those have a tendency to run when you hit them with matte medium. Then I did a bunch of stenciling on them, and I used acrylic paints and gesso to stencil. And then on a few of them I applied some tissue paper scraps that I had, some Tim Holtz and some dollar store tissue. I did a little stamping on a few of them using Ranger archival ink for the black and using gesso for the white. And I tried the method that Cat Hand showed us in her tutorial of using a Starbucks sleeve to make those little white stripes that you see on the green one and the yellow one. The next step was just to cut them down into 1 inch squares. And I love how they're transformed when they become smaller. Like it's like something magical happens there, and now they're really starting to look like Inchies. I'm really happy with them right here. And then came the big job of decorating each little individual one. I think I worked on this over 3 nights to get them all done, but each one I think has its own personality, and I think they're so super cute. So here are the close-ups. I tried to use a wide variety of icons, so you'll see the bunny, the bats. There's a lot of butterflies, flowers, and hearts because that was the stamp set that I had. A lot of stars, a few leaves. There's a little owl sticker that I had. A lot of little words. I think the Shoot for the Moon one is probably in my top 5 for sure. I love that one. Same with the yellow one on the top right. That's another one of my favorites. In here you can see I use my stamp set a lot. In the top 2 on the left and the bottom right one, they're all the stamp set. I think the tulips card turned out really pretty here. hands down, my very favorite Inchie that I did was that those raccoons family time. I just have a soft spot in my heart for raccoons. I had that sticker and it just came together, and that's absolutely my favorite. But I also love the shine in the bottom left because I think that was my favorite background. Same with the psychedelic crab. That little spider is the only one that I'm not happy with. I didn't like how the embossing powder worked on them, so I didn't use them again after I did that. But I'm happy with how the rest of them turned out, so one does all right. In this batch, definitely the hedgehog and the croissant are my two favorite, but I also like the citrus wedge stamp. I just stamped that with my Copic markers. And here's the very last one. Didn't fit in the other layouts, so it's just a little My Mind's Eye cardstock embellishment and a little heart rub-on. And that's all of them. So here are my journal pages, and I just followed Cat Hand's tutorial for these. The backgrounds are just painted with acrylic paint, and then I just stenciled on some polka dots with acrylic paint, outlined the pages with Sharpie pen, and then I outlined the Inchies with Sharpie pen, and then I just stuck them down onto the pages. And I love how the finished pages look, but the only thing is I accidentally put them in my book upside down. So when you get to this page in the book, you kind of have to flip the book over to see them. But other than that, really happy with how they turned out. I loved doing Inchies, and I hope you guys try it too. Thanks so much for watching.